Yes, all of you are getting clarity up to now? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting up to this point here. How we are able to represent the date, both the data. Now here I'm telling you. Now try to observe this clearly. When I call save of a student, when I call save of student, how data has to be represented here? For example, if you take first approach now, if you take first approach, in first approach, if we take first approach at a relational data model, how data has to be stored here? Student data. S111, student name AA, student address is like what there, Hibernate. Single student object. But how many courses have to be stored here? No, 3 courses have to be stored. What are the 3 courses here now? C1, course name, cost is 5,000. SID is what there, which student has stored here now? S111. Right, sir. Next one. C2, CBP, 10,000, S11. Okay. Now third course here. C3, Java, 20,000. S111. The data will be distributed if you use like what their first approach. If you use first approach, in this way the data is going to be represented. Okay, understand it now. But if you take second approach now, how data is going to be represented here now? First, only one student is existed here, the data will be stored. S111, AAA, Hibernate. Right, sir. But how many courses are available here? 3 courses are available. Out of these 3 courses, all 3 courses data will be stored here. Then what next one can know? Then what next one can after this? Here we are able to use like what there 5,000. Now C2, CBP, 10,000. Next one is C3, Java, 20,000. This data might be existed here. But now here inside this, then what we are able to provide there? The content now. C1, C2, then what next one here? C3. Here we are providing these 3 things, no? But for all C1, S11 only. For C2 also S11 only. For C3 also what they know? S111. For all here, what we are able to get there? S11 only. That means 3 courses are joined with what they know? Single student. Single student has joined with 3 courses now. Observe carefully, all of you guys. But here my question is, when we say student object, student data will be stored in student table and course data will be stored in a courses object. How data has to be distributed in this way? This is what we require. But how data is going to be distributed here? How student data will be stored in student table? How courses data will be stored in course table? And how CID and course ID, SID data will be stored in the join table and in the join column. Then how it is going to be happen? This is the question here. How it is possible here? Guys, all of you get my point or not? How it is possible? Right, exactly. To achieve this particular one, here we required what we required here now in the middle. Here we required ORM. Here what we required, ORM is required. One of the ORM implementation is like what they know, Hibernate. One of the ORM implementation is what there, Hibernate. Understand this. Okay, one of the ORM implementation is what there, Hibernate. Then after that, after understanding this, one of the ORM implementation Hibernate, no. What next one here? Observe carefully. Where we need to go for a mapping here. This mapping is like what there, one to many mapping. A separate mapping style is available. A separate concept is available. One to many mapping. That one to many mapping is going to be available. That's it. Now in this way here we are able to achieve one to many mapping. But exactly that mapping details here we are going to understand in the respective location. The mapping details here we are going to understand like what they know in the respective locations, not immediately. But this is like what their associations mapping. Associations mapping. Observe carefully. Now it is completed case. Associations mapping here we completed, no? Observe carefully. But whenever we are getting associations mapping, what next one? Okay. All right, sir. This is about associations mapping. Guys, now let's come for this next one here. What about this next one here? No, identity mismatch. What is this identity mismatch? That we have to understand. Observe carefully. Guys, everybody understand this. What is the meaning of this identity mismatch now? Guys, I'm asking one question to all of you. Now try to answer for it. In Java, are we able to check whether two objects are same or not? In Java, how it is possible to check whether two objects are equal or not? By using what we are able to check whether two objects are same or not? Come on, guys, we have to answer for it. In a Java applications, to check whether two objects are same or not, we will use either double equals operator or equals method. Okay, now this is a point here we have to understand. We have to use like this. Okay, fine. Now tell me how it is possible to check two records are equal or not in a relational data model. Come on, guys. Now tell me. Using primary key. Okay. You are thinking about primary key. Is it possible to duplicate primary key value? The two records are going to have same primary key. Is it right? Is it possible to have same primary key value for both the records, for two records? No. No. And then how? How it is possible? That is my question now. Right, sir. In general, in a relational data model, every record must have primary key. Every record must have what they know, primary key. It must be unique it must be what there, unique and not null. Am I right or not? It must be what there, unique and not null. Guys, observe this clearly. What I'm telling there, it must be what there, unique and not null. Clear? Okay, fine. So it is not possible to manage same records. It's not possible to manage same record more than one time. Then there is no question of checking whether two records are same or not. Guys, am I right or not? It is not possible to manage same records more than one time. Then there is no question of checking whether two records are same or not. Understand it here. But in a relational data model, it is achieved here. But in object-oriented data model, it is not achieved here. Am I right or not? It is not possible here. Two records are same or not. There is no concept like this. Again here, data mismatch is available or not? Mismatch is available between both the models or not? Here, what happened there? No, the above situations are specifying clearly both the data models. Above situations are specifying clearly both the data models are having difference in checking equal objects, equal entities. So it will reduce data persistence in enterprise applications. Right, yes. Understand my point, Ken? Okay. It will reduce data persistence in enterprise applications. Right, sir. But how ORM is going to provide this? Where it able to manage something? ORM is providing a solution in a different way in the sense just it is identifying which objects are same. No, then that is going to be mapped with a single record here. If two objects are coming there, duplicate objects are coming there, then it able to provide like what there a differentiation here. No, that means it able to represent like what there the respective record, single record only. It able to map the duplicates with a single record only. There ORM is providing a solution here. No, right, sir. In the above context, ORM is providing solution to refer more than one duplicate with a single record. And that kind of things are going to be happening here. The ORM is providing solution for it. But what solution is providing there? That doesn't matter for us clearly. This is what exactly the meaning of like what there ORM. Then how we are able to achieve data persistence through ORM. Guys, I'm asking one question finally to you. Now tell me your answer here. What is the requirement to go for ORM now? Right, sir. Right, sir. What is the requirement to go for this ORM here now? Come on, guys. I'm asking this question to you. What is the requirement to go for ORM here now? The main requirement to go for ORM is the main requirement to go for ORM is to resolve mismatches between both object-oriented data model and relational data model in order to improve persistence, in order to improve data persistence. To improve data persistence only, we are going to use what there? ORM. Okay. Right, guys. Now, this is what exactly the requirement here we can understand. Okay, fine. Now, again, I want to talk about this ORM definition. What is that ORM definition here? ORM is a set of rules and regulations. ORM is what? The set of rules and regulations to provide mapping between object-oriented data models, object-oriented data model, and relational data model, relational data model in order to improve data persistence by providing data persistence by providing either by using XML document or by using annotations. Right. This is what exactly the meaning of like what there ORM. Right. Sir. One more point I'm telling there. ORM is what their set of rules and regulations are guidelines. ORM is like what their set of rules and regulations are what their guidelines. ORM is what their set of rules and regulations are guidelines. Okay, fine. But these guidelines are implemented in the form of some third-party products. ORM rules and regulations are implemented by some third-party organizations in the form of the following products. That means in the form of some tools. What are the various tools here? First one is what there entity beans from Sun Microsystems, Java beans, entity beans, and second one is like what there Hibernate, and third one is like what there JPA, and fourth one is like what there Top Link, and fifth one is like what there OpenJPA, Hibernate, and so on. So many things are existed here. These are all like what there ORM implementation tools only. ORM implementation tools only. Understand, guys, what I'm telling there? Okay, so many things are available. Not even like a single one. So many things are existed here. Right, fine. Next one is after that, after completion of this. Now here I have a question now. What about my coaching here? Simply at our basic level here, we have to understand what about my coaching here. Understand, guys, what I'm telling here. What are the differences between entity beans and Hibernate? That means already we have entity beans. Then what is the requirement to go for Hibernate? This is my question. Guys, all of you are getting clarity on this, what I'm asking there, no? Already we have entity beans, then what is the requirement to go for Hibernate? This is my question. Okay, another question. What are the differences between JP and Hibernate? What exactly the differences are available between JP and Hibernate? This one over here we have to understand, guys. Okay, guys, any idea? Can you tell me something about this one? Any idea? I will give some information, some content here. Now try to understand it. No. Very first point here, I'm telling to you. EJBs, entity beans, are heavyweight, but Hibernate is lightweight. EJB entity beans is like what they're heavyweight, but whereas Hibernate is what they're lightweight. Why, sir? Why it is now? Number of reasons are available. What are the various reasons are available here? One simple example I'm telling them. If you want to execute EJB's entity beans, server is required or not? Application server is required or not, guys? Now tell me. If you want to execute entity beans, no, application server is required or not? Definitely, application server is required. Without application server, we are unable to execute it. Without application server, we are unable to execute it. But Hibernate programs we can execute without a application server. In a standalone way also, we are able to execute. This is one reason here. Next one, if you want to perform any operation with entity beans, no, so many objects are going to be created internally. So many session objects are going to be created internally. So many associated objects are created internally. But in the case of Hibernate, not required to create too much. Less number of objects only here we are able, but we are able to create it now. But less number of objects only here we are able to create. Guys, understand it clearly what I'm telling you now. Okay, this is what exactly the meaning of heavyweight and lightweight. Hibernate is somewhat lightweight, but whereas EJBC is what they know, heavyweight. Another way also we can specify that. Anyway, in the next point here I'm telling you. Another point is like what there. EJBs is more API dependent, but Hibernate is what they know. Hibernate is less API dependent. Why? Because if you want to prepare an entity bean, no, we need to use too much predefined library like entity bean interface or maybe home interface or something else, session interface. Like so many interfaces here we have to implement, and so many methods here we have to implement. There is some life cycle, specific life cycle. But in the case of Hibernate, we are using POSO classes. Guys, can you tell me what is this POSO classes now? What's the meaning of POSO class here? In Spring itself, we covered this point here. Meaning of this POSO class. Java bean only. But inside the Java bean, one type is what there POSO. What's the meaning of this POSO class now? It should not extend or implement any predefined library. It should not implement or extend any predefined library. Predefined library must not be extended, must not be implemented here inside these POSO classes now. Plain word Java objects. Plain class, just a simple class. Except serialization. Okay, fine. Get my point or not? So that's why here Hibernate is less API dependent, EJBC is what they are more API dependent. Right, it's okay, fine. Next one is point number 3. Debugging and testing is very much difficult in entity beans. Wherever more API dependency is available, wherever more API is dependent, no. Wherever more API dependent is available, there we can understand debugging and testing is very much difficult. But debugging and testing is very simple in Hibernate. Debugging and testing is very simple in what they know in Hibernate. Observe this point, guys. What I'm telling to you now. Okay. This is another point here we require now. Guys, all of you are following these points or not? Simple points when I'm talking there. Okay. Right. Next one is after that. In Hibernate, in EJBs, entity beans, it is not possible to define relations between beans. But in Hibernate, we are able to define relations between entities. That means bean classes, beans. We are able to define relations between beans. Next one here. In entity beans, one-to-one relationship is required between entity bean and a table. But in Hibernate, we are able to define any type of relation between bean and a table. Tables, beans and tables. Okay. Next one, after that, another point here I'm telling there. Already I discussed about this point here, but again I'm telling to you. Entity beans required application server, web logic or something else. But Hibernate doesn't require application server. It is not dependent on application server. But Hibernate is not dependent on application server. And whereas these entity beans are dependent on like what their application servers. These points here we have to understand class. Like this, so many points are. Then basic differences here I'm telling here. Try to recognize this. NDBs are heavyweight, but Hibernate is lightweight. EJBs, entity beans is more API dependent, but Hibernate is less API dependent. Debug and testing is very much difficult in entity beans, but whereas debug and testing is very simple in Hibernate. In entity beans, it is not possible to define relations between beans, but in Hibernate, we are able to define relations between beans. In entity beans, one-to-one relationship is required between entity beans and tables, but in Hibernate, we are able to define any type of relation between bean and tables. Right, one bean to one table, that is going to be happen in the case of what their entity beans, but one bean and multiple tables, or maybe multiple beans, one table is also be possible here in the case of Hibernate. Yeah, that we are able to manage it. Next one, entity beans required application server. Hibernate does not require application server. So these are the various points here we have to understand about like what the differences between entity beans. Then what next one here? No, like a Hibernate. Next one, guys. Here we are having another question here. Now try to understand this question here. What about another question now? What are the differences between, or what is the difference between JPA and a Hibernate? What's the difference between JPA and a Hibernate? Any idea, guys? What exactly the difference between JPA and a Hibernate? No. Any of you? Now tell me. Then what's the difference between JPA and a Hibernate? Any idea, guys? Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. Then I'll discuss about this point on tomorrow. Yeah, JPA is compared with any ORM model. That's okay. Nice. Good. But there are some reasons. No. Then I'll discuss about this topic on tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll go for the Hibernate history. Then after completion of this Hibernate history, then I will go for like what their elements, Hibernate architecture. I'm going to discuss there, Hibernate flow and Hibernate architecture. After completion of this Hibernate architecture, then we are going to understand how to prepare Hibernate applications. The demo class are already completed, sir. Now we are discussing about like what their regular content syllabus only we are discussing there. It's not like demo class. Already we started like what their introduction classes there. Now, just we are coming to the Hibernate now. Now here we are going to understand like what the Hibernate related content. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll discuss about the difference. Then after that, Hibernate architecture, all the content here we are going to understand. Don't worry. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. The spring class is there, guys. Then I will take the spring class today. Yeah. Then within 5 to 10 minutes, I'll start it. Fine.